So we have enough with the current board for quorum.
Which is what we need to start the meeting. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Calling the meeting to order at whatever time it is, 7:01. This might be the earliest we've started a board meeting in a decade. Okay, terrific. The first, and this is the last time we're holding our annual meeting in February, because one of the things we'll do tonight is approve new bylaws. And 2021 is going to be a strange year because we're going to end up with 2 annual meetings since we're going to move it to December. And my hope is that things will be settled down enough with the coronavirus that we can actually have our annual meeting in December, followed by a holiday party. So that's the game plan on that front. All right. For a, we're going to start off with the nominating.
Rick?
And yes.
Do you think we should do any kind of introduction because we have a lot of guests tonight, or?
Once again, Randy saves me from myself. I love it. Yes.
I'm happy we have so many guests.
Yes. So joining us tonight are, let's see, I'll do it in the order that I see on my screen. Richard Morrison, who, there he is waving to everybody. Richard is going to be named to the collection committee later this evening. Richard has a career in publishing. He moved up here full time after buying his house, I think in 2016, right, Richard? Terrific. And as a career in publishing, it's very impressive, and he'll be joining the collection committee. Also joining us tonight is Teresa Mayhew, who is, hi Teresa, who just has 3 degrees, I noticed on her her CV, and just spent the last 31 years at the Columbia Cornell Cooperative Extension as an educator. And I know her as an outstanding one because we were both on the county's Environmental Management Council together, and she always impressed me. So, and Teresa will be joining the board tonight, and she will be co-chairing ELIC with Carol for as long as we continue to have Carol, I think, is the arrangement. Also joining us tonight is Kathleen Turley, who will be elected to the board as with Teresa. Kathleen spent a couple of decades as a family law attorney. So, and has been in North Chatham almost 2 decades as well. So, and she is moving up here full time as well. And we will be electing her to the board this evening. Also joining us, oops, what did I do? There we go. Is Linda Morawski, who many of you already know from all of her volunteer activities with the library, including being a stalwart at Books and Blooms for probably well over a decade as well. Linda also generously has been serving on both the marketing and finance committees for us and has been doing fabulous work. And so she'll be joining us as well. Judy Albert is with us tonight as well. Judy is a former board member. She is also an attorney, and her background is in high finance, formerly with Bear Stearns. And I believe she's now teaching at the new school, amongst other things. Yep. Terrific. Also joining us is Alex Marr. Alex and Todd, all of you know, probably know that she lives in the old Steimer house right across from Route 17. She is an author and a documentary filmmaker working on a new book, and Alex will be joining the collection committee as well. And that's everybody I see on my screen. Are there more people?
Liz Smith is there.
Who?
Liz Smith.
I see Liz, but we all know Liz.
Oh, okay.
We know and love Liz. So I think those are all the new folks joining us this evening. All right, terrific. If any of them want to speak up, have anything to say, this is a good time to do it. I'll take a pause. Everybody seems.
The only thing I'd like to say is when I left the board in 2005, because I moved overseas, the budget was $30,000 a year. And I don't know where you are right now, but I know it's some multiples of that. So I congratulate you all.
Thank you. Wow, it was that small. Yeah, we're over 100 now,
Mhm.
Judy. So, and it will be more than that going forward, as we all know. All righty. Let's move to the election of new trustees.
Oh,
We
Rick,
have-
should we do the minutes?
Oh, I see. Approved January 2021. Once again, Randy saves me. Thank you.
There are minor edits that Julie submitted on the minutes. It has to do with something that I wrote incorrectly in the library director's report about Vicky's presentations at the primary school. It's really minor. But one question I didn't hear back from anybody about was I had yellow highlighted the mid-Hudson budget. I wasn't sure if I got the figures right. I don't know. I guess this is the time to find out that Julie was the only one that actually read the minutes. But did I get those figures right? Did the state hold back 20%?
Yes, I did read the minutes, and I didn't catch what Julie caught, but that was correct.
Okay.
So, Randy, it just dawned on me to follow up on our introductions. I think everybody knows who I am. I'm Rick Werwace, president of the library. But if the rest of the existing board members would just introduce themselves to the newcomers to our call this evening, that would be great. I think they probably know everybody, but maybe not.
I'm Dottie
You're up.
Cummings, and I'm vice president of the board and chair of the marketing committee. And I live 3 houses down.
I'm Randy Walker. I'm secretary to the board and I live in Chatham Center.
I'm Julie Cabot, and I live a little further down from the library, and I'm chair of the Arts and Culture Program Committee.
Carol,
I'm Dale Saylor. I'm chair of the fundraising committee. And Alex, I like that you had a wine glass in your hand. Sort of.
Wise move, Alex.
You're in.
It's that time of the evening, guys. Let's
Yep.
get literary, okay?
You want to join the fundraising committee?
I think Richard has a beer.
You too. You're in.
Good man. Good man. All right, Carol.
I'm Carol Hageman. I'm with Terry. Terry's my co-chair of ELIC, the Adult Learning Program. I've been at it. Judy was on the board when I was doing it, and it came on. So it's about 10 or 11 years I've been doing ELIC, and I've been on the board before that, and I am getting off the board in June. And we were very lucky that I got Terry to agree to take over ELIC for me when I leave.
Kim.
You just see Kim. I'm Kim Grethen. I don't know how long I've been on the board. I've lived in North Chatham for 13 years.
So probably 12.
That could be. Yes. Here we go. I'm opinionated.
Kim is the backbone of much of what we do at the library, so thank you. Mark.
Mark Reamer, Buildings and Grounds. It's been over a decade. It goes so fast. And most people know I live right behind the library.
There you go. And Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz Smith. I'm on the fundraising committee and I'm going to work on the children's programs. And I do some cooking for some of the events. And I live up on Crestview Drive near Linda.
Yay. Okay,
Christy.
Yep. Forgot about me already, Rick, because I have no photo up.
that's
So
it.
Normally I share my screen. I'm sorry. I've been having trouble with my laptop for the last 2 days, so I haven't been able to screen share in Zoom. Christy Sadowski, treasurer of the board. 2 years so far working on, this will be the 3rd year, full year. And I live on Route 32, up the road a piece towards 9.
Great. Thank you. All right, everybody. The first order of business is the minutes. They're entered in for consideration. Are there any other comments, questions, corrections? Hearing none, I'm going to have the board have a sense of the board that we have adopted the minutes from our last meeting. Check. Terrific. All right, thank you, Randy, for keeping us on schedule there. All right, shall we elect some new trustees? The first one is Judy Albert to a term from 2020 to 2023. Well, actually it'd be 2021 to 2023. Now, some of these terms are staggered so that we can have, as the bylaws call for. But that doesn't mean that those people are going to term limit out at the end of their terms. It means I'm going to come to them and say, it's time to come for another 3-year term. And I'm counting on them all to say yes at that point. All right, Teresa Mayhew with a term that ends in 2022. Linda Morawski, Linda Morawski with a term that ends this year, 2021, and Kathleen Turley, 2021 as well. Randy, I actually think that we had talked about Linda and Judy flipping spots there on that.
Yeah, I guess I wrote it down wrong. We're gonna have Linda with the group that gets reelected tonight.
Oh, I
Judy.
see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wrote the terms wrong. It really should be that Linda's 2021 to 2024.
Gotcha.
And that's the same as you and I and Kim and Dale.
Okay. And the only reason for that is I did it in the order that I asked people about joining the board. 3, 2, 1. So, but as I say, don't worry. You all have unlimited terms coming your way if I have my way. All right. All those in favor of adding these 4 new folks on these terms to our board of trustees, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. We have 4 new trustees and I am so excited for them and for us. Yay.
Yay.
All right.
So that means that the new trustees get to vote on everything going forward.
There you go.
I just want to make that clear.
Good. All right. Trustees up for re-election tonight include me, Dale Saylor, Randy Walker, and Kim Breathen. All those in favor of this slate, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? And hearing none, we have re-elected 4 of us. Okay, here's where it gets a little twisty. We're going to elect officers, and by the terms of our bylaws, officers only serve 1 year at a time, and they are limited to 3 consecutive 1-year terms. That can be altered with a waiver by the board. And so the first motion I'm going to ask somebody else to make is that the board waive that requirement for myself and Dottie Cummings. And I just want to point out, this is your opportunity for a coup. If anybody else would like to be president, now is the time to make your move, or vice president for that matter. Come
So
on.
I make a motion.
Go ahead.
motion to waive the term limits for Rick Wareweiss and Dottie Cummings. Rick is president, Dottie is vice president.
Second.
Mark seconds it. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Terrific. The motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're going to elect officers to one-year terms, which is kind of strange because it'll really be done again in December. So it's not truly a one-year term, but that's how we're going to phrase it this evening. So the officers would be myself as president, Dottie Cummings as vice president, Dale Saylor as the second vice president, Christy Sadowski as treasurer, and Randy Walker as secretary. Can I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
I'll
A
second.
second.
Did you get that, Randy?
Who was the second? Kim was the motion.
Judy seconded it.
Teresa
Or-
was the motion. I was the second.
Great.
I moved it, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes, and you have missed your chance to knock me off my pedestal. All right, all of you were given draft copies of revised bylaws. I'm going to enter the motion to pass the revised bylaws. Is there a second?
Rick, I have a question.
We need the second first, Julie.
I second. I second.
Okay, now your question.
Okay, my question is,
Uh-oh, I don't
now
have
you
it.
have a program committee which requires 3 trustees and then subcommittees. So am I right to expect that I'm going to serve on another committee with the head of ELIC and I don't know what other program committee?
Yes.
And then also have the subcommittee.
So yes, Julie, the way this is going to work is I'm going to be the third trustee and chair of the program committee.
Oh, okay.
I am never going to call a program committee meeting because the subcommittees are going to do all the heavy lifting. But this is just a structural, it's a construct to fit within the bylaws. And that way we also have trustees leading each of the committees.
Terrific.
I was concerned about that too, that we didn't have a program committee and we got plenty of programs. And I was thinking about it from the perspective of, suppose someone had a program idea that did not fit within the ELIC bailiwick or within the arts or within children's programs. To whom do you go to present the idea and possibly, like, for example, we talked about a program on doing CPR back before the pandemic. That doesn't fit in any of the subcommittees that we have. So I had some concern about needing to have sort of a general or umbrella program committee that oversaw and was a place to take ideas for programs.
Yes. Yep, go ahead.
So that makes sense. That makes sense. The other thing is that one of the places we've sort of fallen apart is scheduling. So if we who head the subcommittees are in touch with each other to really go over the schedule and what works for the library, that's a good thing.
Okay, so to answer both of your questions, or Dottie's first and then Julie's. Dottie, I'm going to chair the program committee. So those ideas would come to me. I would bring them to Vicky. And we would take it from there in terms of next steps. And
Okay.
Julie, to your concern, I'm hoping we can solve that problem primarily through emails.
Yeah.
But if necessary, I will call a semi-regular program committee meeting of all the subcommittee chairs.
Okay.
But this way it's on me to make sure that all of that alignment comes together, one way or the other. Okay?
Good. Yes.
I had one other question, but it has to do in the bylaws. I think you're probably going to say this kind of fits into policies. There's nothing about social media and the use of social media and things related to that within the law, within the bylaws. Is that because it's something that fits more within policies?
Yes, it would not be appropriate for the bylaws. It would be
Okay.
appropriate for its own policy.
Okay, thank you.
An external policy, yes.
Thank you.
Dottie, I've just assigned you the job of pulling together a crew on figuring out the social media policy.
Oh, really?
See how that works?
Well, I'll have to give this some thought before I give you an okay.
All right, you do that. You do that. Any other questions or comments about the bylaws before we move on them? Hearing none, I call the question. All those in favor of adopting the bylaws as presented, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, we have adopted new bylaws. Randy also shared with you a series of internal policies that are up for consideration and passage hopefully this evening.
Right.
For those of you who've been around a while, you'll remember that about, oh, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, we adopted almost 25 external policies. And they are, we have them electronically. Vicki can always share them with you, but they are also in the board binder at the library if anybody wants to see what the external policies are. And there's a table of contents, and then there's all of the policies that follow, including things like sexual harassment, to using the equipment, to the bulletin board at the front of the library. So we passed those quite a while back. They seem to be holding up. We've never had to really reference them. We've never had a book challenged, but we have a policy for it. We've never had our use of the meeting room challenged, but we have a policy for it. So if you're interested, I can either give you the electronic version, or you can stop by the library and look in the board binder for those.
Rick, I
Yep.
think we need to have a place like either in Google Docs or something like that where these policies, these other policies are listed. And Vicki, I don't really know, when do we all get recertified, at least on the sexual harassment policy? Eventually, we're going to have to get recertified on the conflict of interest policy if it passes tonight. Does anyone know
The
when
state,
October is the date, the month that we did sexual harassment. So in October, I send you out all those things, and then I keep harassing you until you actually return
Okay.
them.
Sexually.
So then this October, we will all get recertified on the sexual harassment.
Yes.
Okay, great.
and that's set by the state.
Right.
So
Okay. All right, but I do think, I think we should explore where we can put all these policy documents online, either in Google Docs, and then everyone on the board can go and see those, because we have a lot right now. We'll have 31 after tonight, or 30 or so after tonight.
So most libraries, and this is something I'll have to work with Isaac and probably Vicki a little bit on. Isaac, for those of you who don't know, Isaac Nelson of Panoramic Studios is our marketing consultant and our web guru, as it were. Most libraries have those available to the public on their website, and we will make sure that after we pass these policies tonight, that we will do the same. Okay. Is there any discussion about the policies that were presented to you all that we're about to vote on? And I'm not sure that all the new members Randy, did all the new members get those?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So I will move to enter those into consideration. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Terrific. Any discussion, question, comments, concerns?
Just a question, which maybe is the level of typo. These were obviously lifted from probably from another source. So under paragraph B, under paragraph 2B, there's a reference to, in the case of disclosure, if someone has a policy, they have to disclose it to the president or the chair of the operations committee. We don't have an operations committee.
Right.
Executive
Right.
committee. If that's an easy change. I don't think it substantively changes it, but
Randy?
Judy, was this a conflict of interest policy?
Yep, conflict of interest, paragraph 2B.
Okay. So we will change that from operations to executive committee in the final version of this policy. And if it's okay with the board, I want to move ahead with that, with a vote on this, knowing that that change is part of the vote. Do I have a sense of the board that that is an okay way to move forward with that change? I see lots of nodding heads
Yes.
and I see no shaking heads. Okay. We will move forward on the consideration of these policies then with that one change. Is there any other concerns or questions regarding these policies? Hearing none, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor of adopting these internal policies, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstaining? Hearing none, we have adopted these policies. Now, there is one more internal policy coming your way in one of the upcoming meetings, hopefully even our next one. And that is going to be about internal controls. And those have primarily to do with finances and how the library director handles those finances in conjunction with the finance committee. So it talks about things like petty cash, the credit card, use of the credit card, expenditure approvals. And so that'll be forthcoming. And once that one is dealt with, we will have the full suite of policies that are required by New York State. So hopefully we can even do that at our next meeting. That's up to, if I get my act together and hash it out with both Vicky and Christy in time.
Yeah, I think we're really close, Rick. I wasn't able to merge the changes you made and the changes I made separately into the one document just yet. But
Yeah, we understand that this is a busy time of year for you. I can barely imagine. I can barely imagine.
Also, Rick, before you
Yep.
leave policies, everyone's going to need to send in the certification, the conflict of interest certification.
Right.
Either do it in person, drop it off at the library in person, or scan it and email it to the library. So Vicky, you'll be collecting those. Is that okay?
Okay.
The question is, a new member of the library, what is the email we use if we want to get things to the library director, i.e. Vicky, as opposed to her personal email?
It's mail@northchathamlibrary.org. Did I get it right, Vicky?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Mail@northchathamlibrary.org. Obviously, no caps, no spaces. Any other questions or comments? Concerns? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay. Hearing none, we have adopted those policies. No, I just lost myself on the, okay.
Committee appointments.
You know what? I don't have that document in front of me. I left it upstairs. Would you all just excuse me for 1 minute? I'll be right back. Sorry.
Alex and Richard, the meeting will get to be more exciting as we go on. You know, the program stuff is a lot more exciting than this, so just hang in there.
There's a whole group that comes out and dances.
Yeah.
On the table.
Love it.
We're not having the dancers tonight?
Yeah.
Well, nothing's stopping you, Kim.
I think we vote Rick in for that since he's not present.
All right, how many of you are surprised that I did have it in front of me and I just forgot that I brought it downstairs?
Oh.
I'm not surprised.
No.
I'm not surprised.
No.
How many of you are surprised that now I can't find it in either location? Randy,
Well,
will
Rick,
you read? Randy,
I
I'm
have
going
it.
to send you to read it off. Can
Yep,
you do
I
that?
have it too. Do you need me to run it up to you?
No, I'll start. So for building and grounds, the chair will be Mark Reamer, and on that on the committee is Rick and Vicky. Do I just keep going?
Yeah, all right. So yes, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one. The way the bylaws read, for those of you that read it over, is the president is to appoint these committees. So we can either do it committee by committee, or I can just appoint them all together at the end.
Just appoint them all together.
Very good. Move ahead, please,
Next,
Randy.
fundraising, Dale is chairing that. Kim's on it, Dottie, Christy, Joan Persing, Liz Smith, me, Linda Romeo, Ann Marshall, Melanie Caldwell, and Judy Albert. The
Great.
next one is marketing. Dottie is chairing that. On that committee is Kim, Rick, Deb Cavola.
Koivula.
Okay, Belinda Leswowski.
Lazowski.
Linda Morawski, and Vicky. The next one is finance. Christy is the chair. Rick, Sue Tanner, Linda, Dottie, and Judy Albert are on that. The next one is program. Rick is the chair. There's no other members. There are 3 subcommittees under there. There's the ELIC subcommittee. Carol is the chair of the ELIC subcommittee. I do not have the members. Oh, here I do. Carol is the co-chair with Terry Mayhew, and Karen McGraw's on it. Leona Scarpinato is on it. Jerry Smith, Roy Dennison, Liz Hurley, Robin Gross, Marge Cartwright, Lorraine Gange, and
Gagne.
and Midzi Dorton. I'm sorry about these names. I really apologize.
Excuse me, Randy, which committee is that? You just
That
read?
was ELIC.
ELIC.
And for
The
those
next-
of you, I'm sorry, Randy, those of you who are scratching your head, ELIC stands for Enriching Life and Increasing Knowledge. It's our adult programming.
The next subcommittee, or the next, is it a subcommittee under the program committee, or is it a
Yes.
subcommittee? The next subcommittee is arts and culture. Julie is the chair of that. Kim Grethen, Judy Staber, Carl Berg, Bonnie Rothenberg, and Mike Lardzabal.
Lardazabal. Yep.
Lardazabal, okay. The last committee is a new committee. It's collections. Rick has made me the chair of that. Co-chair is Vicky Karashige. How'd I do with that one?
Better.
Bonnie Rothenberg is on it. Cindy Lanford, Barbara Gordon, Alex Marr, Richard Morrison, Vicki Wells, and Craig Reardon. Vicki and Craig are staff.
And I think Vicki Wills has asked that she be the co-chair of that as opposed to Vicky Karasagi. So
Okay.
if that, she's nodding. So if that is correct, I will make that change as part of these appointments. And so the way and just to clarify, the way the program committee is constructed, I'm chairing it, and the other 3 members are going to be Carol for ELIC, Julie for arts and culture, and Liz Smith for children's programs. So that's, and Vicky Wills is a member of that committee as well.
Oh, yeah, I
And of
forgot.
course,
the children's-
Terry's taking over for me, so we're approving it for this year. She should be.
She will move on. You know what? Terry should be listed as being on that. Teresa should be listed as being on that committee as well as Carol, since they're co-chairing.
She's on it.
She's
Yeah.
on it, but you didn't list her as co-chair. That's yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I do have her listed as co-chair, so.
All right.
Would it
terrific.
be possible to actually do a screen share for a minute? Because I heard my name against a committee. I'm not sure what it is.
Um,
I think it was
I
fundraising.
I heard fundraising, but I didn't hear the other one.
Finance.
Finance, okay.
yeah, I can't screen share. I've got two computers going here, so it
Got
took
it,
a little
okay.
while for me to switch it over.
Okay. If there's no other changes on the committee listings, so appointed. Yay!
Okay.
That's the first time we've ever followed the bylaws the way they were written. So nice. Check off another good governance situation. All right. Terrific. All right. Vicky,
You know what?
you're on. Yeah.
Let me interrupt for a minute. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the committee, the committee listing an attachment to these minutes. So then when you guys get the minutes, you will see the committee listing. So
Perfect.
how about we do it that way?
Perfect. Okay. Vicky, I saw that you're, it looked like you answered the phone for the library, but are you ready to give a library director report? It doesn't have to be anything major.
I was just talking to Bonnie Rothenberg, and a lot of you guys know her, but I had put a call in. Her mom passed away, so I just, she's been a long time volunteer, and also Books and Blooms, which, she works here Saturday morning as a volunteer. So her mom was Sally Berger, and she was 95. So,
Randy, can we send Bonnie a condolence card?
Yeah.
From the,
Vicky did
library.
send one from all of us, but the board maybe separately. That'd be
Yep.
nice.
That'd be great. Yeah, Bonnie's terrific. She's an amazing volunteer. As a matter of fact, she was the volunteer of volunteers, I think, on the last Book and Blooms, right?
Yeah,
And
she was fabulous.
Yeah.
Getting a ton of volunteers for that. She was great.
Yes. Vicki, is there anything you want us to know from the library specifically this evening, or do you want to take wait until the next meeting?
I think give an annual report at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Just working on that.
I have a
Perfect.
question.
Go ahead, Julie.
So my question is, if we have our annual meeting in December, then I'm assuming that, I think the bylaws say that the library director will do the annual report at that meeting, but that'll be too soon for Vicky to do she won't have all the information before the end of December for the whole year. So I think maybe that's another change that needs to be made in the bylaws, is just to disassociate the annual report from the annual meeting.
All right, so we have two types of annual reports. There's the one you might be thinking of, Julie, is what we are required to file with the state. And that's that thick document with all the metrics for the library in it. And that's the one that Vicky cannot do completely until after December 31st. But I think she is capable of putting together the PowerPoint presentation that she usually gives the board.
No,
You don't know?
no,
All right.
I won't have the figures, Rick. I won't have
Then
the
we will-
figures just like you wouldn't have financial figures till the end of December. I won't have, I just won't have the figures because a lot of those I get from circulation through the Mid-Hudson system.
We'll make that change in the bylaws, Julie. before December, okay?
Yep.
Randy, if you'll make a note of that for the minutes, please. We may even do it at the next meeting, just so.
What are we changing?
To disassociate the
Oh,
annual library report from the annual meeting, that we can have an annual meeting in December. And have a holiday party, so be it, if we're over COVID. And then Vicky can do a presentation when she's able in the beginning of the new year at some point. That takes the pressure off.
Yes. All right, terrific.
Can I ask
We'll
one more
make,
related Rick question about that? So
Yeah.
that the trustees are, just so that it's in the minutes, and I don't have this problem anymore, they're from January to December, and you elect them at the annual meeting and they serve January to December?
yes,
Okay, thanks.
correct. That's how it'll be going forward.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now, just to clarify on that point, though, if we decide to add trustees during the middle of the year, that we're fully entitled to do so. The bylaws would not stop us from doing that. But for people who are renewing, whose terms have expired and who we are renewing to another 3-year term, that'll happen in December and it'll take effect in January.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Christy, still with us?
Yes, I am.
Can you just give us a very quick overview of the finances for 2020, please?
Yep, so we had gone through the more detailed 2020 financials in our last meeting, but from a very high level, in total, we ended the year with 99,000 in total income, and we had about 99,000 in total expenses. We had a deficit of $180 in total. That's some of that is a little bit misleading because we did have some incoming revenue in 2020 that we're going to actually be using in 2021 for specifically for ELIC programs, an ELIC grant that came in. But overall, the numbers were about where we had thought they would be when we reconfigured the budget to take into account COVID. So for those of you that don't know, we did take a bit of a hit from an income perspective due to closing the library and having not being able to run our typical fundraisers throughout the year. And some annual funding did decrease a little bit in 2020, again, tied to COVID. But we reacted to that by pulling back on some of the expenses for the year, which is how we landed just about flat in total.
And just to add, Christy puts together this really nice profit and loss statement that we get, almost every meeting for the new board members, if not every, well, yeah, it seems like it's just about every month, if not every other month. So, she told you these numbers, just sort of a rough thing, but we usually get something detailed. And so in the future, you'll see, it'll be spelled out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Carol has a question.
Hi, Christy. I may be misremembering. I thought you said it 2 years ago that we were running about a $4,000 deficit. Was it wrong and did things change? Or?
No, it's the same numbers. It's 180 deficit when you just look at the numbers straight. But when you have to figure in, we're backing out about $3,000 for the ELIC grant. That is really attributable to 2021 programming. So it's about $3,200 deficit if you peel out that $3,000 that we got in income but don't have in expenses in 2020.
Makes sense. Anything else for Christy on the 2020 finances? Nope. Okay, great. Can Christy, do you happen to know a number on what the annual appeal brought in?
Right now, including a few $100s that aren't in QuickBooks yet. We're looking at 7,700 gross for the annual appeal letter. And I do think we are continuing to see some additional donations trickle in, not as much as in the beginning, but it does seem like funding is still trickling in a bit.
Yeah. I got a call from one of our newer neighbors yesterday saying that they intended to donate a couple of $100 because they'd gotten the appeal letter and set it aside and forgot about it, and then reached out to me. So I directed them to the website, where you can now make donations off the website, which is a huge advance for us. And that new neighbor said that's exactly what he was going to do. So yes, the appeal letter will probably continue to generate some money, nothing considerable, I don't believe, but
Hey, Rick,
yes, Vicki.
I've got more than $1,000 here for donation. Yeah.
Great.
We may make that $10,000 goal on that letter yet, which would be very nice, because that's exactly the amount we budgeted for our fundraisers this year, which did not happen, obviously.
Yep.
Okay. Christy, anything else for us?
Not too much else. I did reach out to our CPA firm, so they have us on the schedule for our 990 tax filing. And I don't recall if I mentioned this last meeting or not, but the W-2s and 1099s were all sent out towards the end of January. So from a tax filing perspective, we're in pretty good shape.
Terrific. You're a rock, an absolute rock. And that's, if it's not obvious, that's in the good sense. All right. Foundational. All right. Thank you, Christy. Any other questions for Christy before we move on to fundraising? All right.
Only,
Thanks
is
again.
there a schedule? I noticed there's a date for the next finance committee meeting. Is there a regular schedule of finance committee meetings?
No, there's no regular schedule. We do try to have them quarterly. I am notoriously horrible about setting them up. So Judy, I will send you out the most recent meeting invite. That's for 2/23. It is a Zoom meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send that over to you.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, Dale, you're up with fundraising.
Fundraising is good. Just a really quick update. We've got the eBay listing going for the quilt, which is our first, yay, eBay listing. Tell everyone you know. And Christy has suggested a new fundraiser for us, which is a food fundraiser for Easter, for spring. I'll let her talk about it in detail, but we're gonna give it a try. I mean, it's a very quick, sort of easy, kind of down and dirty thing that we did, back in the fall for the wreaths, but yeah, it's something we're gonna give a try for Easter for food, and I'll let her talk about the details. And we do need a co-chair. Sign up, please do. But Christy, if you want to talk a minute about the actual details of it, that'd be great.
Sure, absolutely. So the supplier is very similar to the wreath sale in that there's a supplier that can set up a specific web store, a web link that is just for North Chatham Free Library, which will have sort of the selection of items that can be purchased on it, and will automatically take credit card payments. We do not have to pre-buy any of the items. We don't have any minimums that we have to sell or else we get charged. So we could sell one item or 100 items, and it's all of the same. So the way it works is we will get a percentage of the total sale. So the items that we're looking at, I think, trying to remember off the top of my head, we get about 35 to 40% of the total sale of the items. So there's a number of different food items. I think once I get a co-chair and somebody else who will weigh in with an opinion, I think we're trying to keep it simple and just pick a few types of items. They have cheesecakes and butter braids, which is essentially like a Danish, family size style Danish. They have cookie dough. It's all kind of frozen food, bake, freeze, and take out of the freezer and make it when you want, other than a cheesecake. The cheesecake is just take it out of the freezer, don't bake it, or else you'll have a mess. So it seems like it's going to be pretty simple, but we need to decide on dates. We need to decide on what we do want to offer and sell. And then we need to figure out what date we want to do for delivery. So we plan on doing it similar to the wreaths, where we'll say X date at between the hours of X and Y. That's when you can come and pick up your items.
One thing I want to say quickly, if anybody's interested, please shoot me a quick email and just say yes, because I would love for someone to help Christy out with this. I think it's a great, quick way to make a bit of money for us. And we just need somebody to help her out. And I don't want to beg. So please, if anybody will step forward, it's a few hours. And I think it'll be a good test for us to just see kind of how this works.
Sure.
Julie's right, and as is Kathleen. Question.
Let's go with Kathleen first. I have another idea for you for fundraising, separate from the food.
Kathleen, you raised
No,
your
I
hand?
was just saying, are you looking for volunteers from us?
Yes, from the board and from the fundraising committee.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I mean, you sound desperate. I could.
Okay, we're not desperate yet.
To bring to it, but
we'll
Way
get
to step
desperate
up
in a
at
day
your
or
first
two.
meeting,
So.
All right. So Kathleen has stepped up, which is terrific, at her very first meeting. Thank you. Christy and Kathleen, I'll make sure that we get the two of you together somehow, some way, sooner than
Thank
later.
you. That's great. Thank you.
All right.
I just want to say, Dale, I was talking a day or two ago to Mike Lardazabal, and he said to me that a great idea for fundraisers on eBay could be, we have so many artists, visual artists in Columbia County, and if they make a donation to the library, they get credit, like a donation credit for whatever their artwork sells for.
Tax deduction.
Thank you, a tax deduction.
Yes.
And so he thought that could be a nice way to go.
I think that's great. And I think, so we're doing this quilt thing, which is kind of our first kind of foray into eBay. Yep. And we've got it. I told Rick, it broke me. It really did, but we got it. So we're done. It's listed, it's there. And I think let's just see what happens. And if it doesn't even sell, I kind of don't care if it doesn't sell. I want to see how many people are watching it, who's bidding. Let's just look at the numbers, because we can always list it again if it doesn't sell.
Yep.
But I think, yes, let's kind of think of this as what can we do going forward, even to use eBay for us, because we've now got it set up as a charity. We've got it set up as, kind of a link with North Chatham Library. So we can do any artist.
Yeah.
Really that we want to work with. But the the quilt is sort of a kind of test.
Great.
So we'll just see, but tell everyone So we've already got a few bids. We've got a lot of people watching it, a lot of people viewing it, which is good. And it's running for another week or so. So let's just see.
Brilliant. Love it.
What's the reserve price? It didn't say on the eBay.
Well, the reserve is hidden from common folks. But the reserve, I'll tell you, is $500. So, and the reason we set that, and Dottie and I spoke about it, is the last quilt sold for $1,000, but that was by way of raffle, which was very different. It's a lot of people buying $2 and $5 and $10 tickets. a number in between just to see what happens. So we've already got a couple of bids, and if we meet the reserve, then we suddenly, the bids kind of count. So we'll just see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, we can always list it later. But we thought we'd pick a nice number in the middle and just try it out for our first run with eBay. So we'll see what happens.
Great. Dottie, tell the so-and-sos, I think that's a $1,500 quilt.
I will do that.
It's a really nice, it is a really nice piece of work,
Yes,
truly.
thank you.
Okay, Dale, anything else for us this evening?
Sorry,
That's it?
that's it. We're done.
Okay, great, awesome. You are awesome. And you don't look so broken, by the way.
It did break me. Yes.
Hopefully a couple of stiff drinks and you're back.
When we're done, yes.
Okay. All right, Dottie, an update from marketing?
Yes. The website is a work in progress. Isaac Nelson is the consultant on that. And there's the occasional wrinkle and glitch, which Vicky becomes aware of and I become aware of, and we talk with him about it. But he's generally responsive and helps us out. I would urge all of you to go on the website, check it out. And if you have any difficulties and wonder about it or have any questions, please contact me and let me know specifically what it is, and I'll take a look so I understand it and we can decide whether or not it makes sense to contact Isaac to help us out with that. But that's an ongoing process. The Instagram is happening, I'm very happy to say. Robert Guthridge and Courtney Lovell are working on it. And things happen, like Randy took a couple of pictures. I sent it on to them and we used it, are going to use it in terms of Women's History Month. Vicky, if she has ideas, tells me or sends me a picture. We basically funneling it all through Courtney and Robin. So they're really in charge and are doing a nice job. If you are on Instagram, follow the library. If you're not on Instagram, get on Instagram, because I think it's a nice way to keep people apprised of what's going on with the library. The other thing in terms of the website, the flyer will be on that, and it'll be set up so that you can print out a copy of the program flyer for the library if you want. And Kim is particularly happy about that, as I am, how easily it would be to get your own copy and get it printed out. In terms of the future, I think we need to take a look at Facebook. Are we making the best use of Facebook? And also YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. The other day I went on it to see the program that was on with Living to 100, and the program was on there. And there were also three YouTube videos with Rick's face on it. So the meetings, I guess those are meetings that have been recorded and are on YouTube. So if you want to see a lot of Rick, go on YouTube. If you want to see a program, go on YouTube. But I'm glad we had that, but I want to explore a little bit more how we use that and encourage other people to use it, particularly in terms of recording programs that not everybody can get to. And I think
can I ask a question, Dottie? When you say there are recordings of Rick on YouTube, are they board meetings or what are they recording?
Yes.
Are the board meetings public and therefore supposed to be on YouTube and public like that?
Yes.
Okay, just to understand.
So all library board meetings across New York State are open to the public.
Okay.
And as I think they should be, quite honestly.
But
So-
we're under a waiver right now to hold our board meetings through Zoom, but normally this would not be the process. The state requires us to meet in person. So we're under a waiver. Sorry, Alex, to cut you off, and Carol also had something.
And when you meet in person, those would not be recorded typically.
That's correct.
Right,
But they would be open to the public if somebody wanted to come join us.
right.
And
So,
and the minutes are always available to the public.
okay.
Sorry, Terry.
I have a question, Dottie. is it possible on the YouTube channel to separate out the board meetings from the program stuff? Because right now it just appears as a line and it's like, oh, which thing am I going to watch?
Right. I don't know. That's, I think, something we have to sort through. I really like the idea of programs being on there.
Oh, it's very valuable. I'll talk about that when it
Okay.
gets to my turn.
Alex and-
Alex had raised her hand. I'm sorry, Alex.
And then Carol.
Okay.
Oh no, I was just saying it seems that it's there could, if the board wanted there to be a difference, a distinction between a meeting that people could have taken part in the public versus something that's archived forever publicly. For instance, I can stream a hearing in a courtroom right now because of COVID, but I cannot record it. I cannot watch it later. And that's considered to be, a pretty standard protocol. So if people don't want to have the board meetings up there forever and ever, it seems like that should be an option. And I don't know if you can retroactively put those videos in the folder on the YouTube channel, but typically you would have different folders in a YouTube channel, or, it's not called a folder, it's called something else. But, just throwing that out there, since a board meeting would not be what someone else searching for the library would be excited about, probably at first, at least, but I had mentioned to Rick, I am actually going to have to excuse myself because I have a prior commitment now, another Zoom call. But it was lovely to see everyone, and congratulations to the new board members and trustees and whatnot. And I'm excited for everyone to be able to be at the library in person again.
Hey, thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
By the way, everybody, Alex is going to present her film for one of our, in the fall, for one of our arts and culture programs.
That's fabulous. That's terrific. Carol, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna do it in ELIC, but I'm on the finishing touches of the ELIC grant. And are there any kind of publicity costs, like for YouTube or for the website or for marketing? Have a general marketing account, a line. I should know that because I can put in ELIC share of it. And frankly, the ELIC share would pick up, help pick up everybody else's. So this is something I need to know like now.
All right, Carol, Dottie and I will follow up with you on that, and we'll talk to Christy as well. Because we are paying Isaac and Panoramic Studios for their ongoing support of our website and other marketing efforts. Not a lot, but some.
Yeah, might,
All right.
I might be able to sneak it in. There's a limit on how much I can ask for, but if I can squeeze it in, of course I will,
Yep, I like it. Okay, Dottie, all set?
Yep, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Mark, anything from Buildings and Grounds this evening? You're muted.
Sorry. Mary Clark and I are continuing to work on the expanded and updated facility plan. Making good progress. I might have something to show you next month.
Great.
And that's about it.
Yep. So would everybody, just to remind everybody, and for those of you who are new, the facility plan, which is the first time we're ever going to have one. And it's so great that we have this board that we have now, because we can do all sorts of things that we should have been doing all along and are now just getting up to. The facility plan will tell us what the long-term expenses of maintaining the building and the grounds are. The life of the roof, the life of the furnace, the life of the septic, things like that, and things that we should be building into future budgets. So, and I'm going to be absolutely thrilled to have that. And of course, Mary Clark, a former trustee, as we all know, is a budgeting whiz from her days working for New York State Assembly and New York State Senate and New York State Budget, Office of Budget and Management. So, yeah, that's going to be great. Anything else for us, Mark?
I would just mention that also that as part of that, another thing that Mary wanted to include is we're coalescing what we've spent so far for the big construction project we hope to do someday, and those things. So we'll have a snapshot of those big numbers available for everyone to witness.
Good.
Terrific.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Any questions for Mark? Okay. Julie,
Okay.
arts and culture.
All right, let's see, I sent some stuff to Randy that was in the agenda. So I won't repeat that. I'm waiting still to hear, New York State is late this year, so we haven't heard yet about the grant. But I wanted to let people know I was impressed with Carol's listing in the minutes of attendees and numbers. And I recently did the final report on 2020 programs. And so just to let you know, we had 5 programs. There were, in those 5 programs, 178 people attended. That's just the number of computers. So in addition, many of the computers had more than one person on them. So in some ways, doing on Zoom was pretty remarkable. But in addition, we started putting things on YouTube, and the YouTube presentations, we have 3 of them up on the library website, have had 88 views.
Wow.
And that isn't inclusive of everything, because we also had 3 other YouTube videos that we had links from the library to these other organizations like Girl Be Heard in New York and Susan Griss's Minds in Motion website. So they get the numbers. But they had a lot of views. So it's quite amazing. And for us to consider, as we move forward, I think we want to have programs in the library again. But this idea of recording things, it's hard to do it when it's an actual presentation, but it's been successful. So just to factor in.
That's terrific. I think the YouTube views are amazing. And everybody who saw The Price of Freedom, Julie, is raving, absolutely raving about it. So that was quite the program. If you weren't able to attend when it went live, please do take time to look it up on the YouTube channel, because it was amazing.
Thank
Truly.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right. And you've got a program with Carl Berg coming up. What's that one?
Yes, the program with Carl Berg is, what's the title, Kim?
Catching Souls on Film.
Catching Souls on Film. So Carl's photos, he's been taking these gorgeous photos from around the world on all his travels. And they're just beautiful portraits of people. But he also is a clinical psychologist who practiced, he's retired more recently, but for years he practiced in New York City. And so he's also very attuned to the relationship of the photographer to the subject. And as we look at the photos in the Zoom presentation, he wants it to be a conversation. Because oftentimes he talked with people, how they react, how they feel about being photographed, whether they want it or they don't, the emotions they're showing, the cultures and the different cultural responses and the rest. So it promises to be a really interesting program. And you do have to sign up in advance with the library to get the Zoom code. This is to prevent Zoom bombing, but I will be sending out information, and I know that Vicky will be sending out blasts about his program, but it should be very interesting. And then we have another program coming up in April, which I'll describe at next month's meeting.
Great. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
All right. And Carol,
Okay.
Elick.
I'd like to use my time not to go over the upcoming programs or the past programs. I want to say that Vicki gave me that chart. So I did not compile that. Vicki was able to compile that, and that was really helpful. You did better on attendance with the fewer programs. And I think that we really lost out doing so many programs on the weekend once COVID hit, and doing them by Zoom, and you did well. So, there's no pattern. Anyway, my big report is this coming up grant. I think everybody read it. It's going to be a free educational series on how to be environmentally friendly in Columbia County that's focused on seniors. It has intergenerational components and will be part of our existing ELIC project. So you all know that. Christy Lucky Soul has my budget, that she can work on with that. It's still a draft. We're still looking for titles. We came up with one in our board meeting, which was, what was it?
How to be more eco-friendly.
How to be more eco-friendly. And
Series.
just came up with for Senior Friends of the Environment. We're playing around with that. You've all seen that summary. The addition is I've been playing up the intergenerational because I found a whole bunch of wonderful resources from my old research life in this area. And the things that are new that I think you like, but I want to be sure is that I'm going, should the budget allow us, I'll be buying some books on the environment, or as Vicki said at one point, getting them, supporting some online use of them. We could be putting stuff on YouTube. I'm planning, if you all agree, to buy a portable bookcase, so when we're ever ready downstairs, we have a separate place to house them. And that's pretty much it. It's in good shape. I think it looks good. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Any questions or comments for Carol?
That's
This is
great. I'll just say quickly that in the past, when I ran workshops for school children on nature, these are older books, but I came across wonderful books, about walks in nature with kids and things that could be intergenerational. So if you're interested, I'll provide you with some titles.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just trying, I think you'll see when you see it, I'm trying to make it more pushing the library into the ELIC as much as I can with this. All righty.
Carol, I can ask we have a library at work, and I can ask the library director if she has any environmental or books on this topic that she would recommend. They're always seeing the new titles and stuff.
One of the ways I'm thinking of going is once we get our speakers, if they have books or resources, like the Department of Health will be on the list. We don't have to identify. At this point, we're looking at something that's going to start next year, so it won't be starting for a while. But it's a different approach. We've never used ELIC to support books, and I realize that has to go in with, the book committee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yep. So for those of you who don't know, Randy works at the Department of Environmental Conservation. So that's a good resource for Carol and Teresa as they put that program together.
Yeah, and we have a pretty big library. The library, we have two library, well, a library director and assistant director. So I'm sure they're keeping up with, the titles because they're supplying our library with, up-to-date books. So
I just realized I didn't say something at the end. There's something we wanted to do with the retirement grant that we couldn't do. COVID kills it. I'm hoping, since this is not going to start for a while, for about a year, that in the end, we can have kind of an intergenerational environment fair. And there are all kind of games that I've seen from Co-op Extension out of Pennsylvania on how to play games in an intergenerational way and learning about the environment. And I think that would really be a fun kind of capstone to the grant. And I didn't mention that. So we'll see.
Great. Thank you, Carol. That's terrific. Teresa, do you want to throw anything into the conversation as well?
I'm learning the ropes. I've got a great leader, so a mentor. So, I'm trying to, Carol and I are going to be meeting tomorrow morning to go over some things. So she's keeping me apprised of things and, and forwarding her materials to me so I can become more familiar with the process. So, and I'm excited, and I do have a bit of a background in environmental through my work at Extension. And also I was involved with the National Association of Family Consumer Sciences, and we have a lot of literary programming that has gone on, especially with families, to promote reading and well, media literacy in general. So, which is another critical component.
Terrific. Love it. Okay, thank you. Dottie, what is the update on the strategic plan,
Okay.
please?
Yes. One thing is this strategic plan that we have with its 7 goals, we adopted February 2017, and we're on a 5-year plan. So we need to adopt a new one on 2022. So
Carol. Okay, go ahead, Dottie.
okay. All right. I don't know if she's okay. So keep that in mind. We need to adopt a new strategic plan. Secondly, when I looked at it to review it, I entertained the idea of going through it with each of the goals and what I see us doing and what I see where we need to improve. And I felt that really would take too long in this venue, and we need a small group of people to get together to review it and make some recommendations for planning for coming up with the future strategic plan. One of the things that pleased me is we did the strategic plan. We did not put it in a drawer and never look at it again. We have done a number of things that we did plan for, and that were the tasks and goals in the strategic plan. There are also a number of things of the tasks and goals that we did not do a thing about. So there's more work to be done, and that's my update, I think, the best I can say.
Okay, so as we're coming closer to 2022, when we should be adopting a revised, updated, or brand new strategic plan, which, by the way, the library systems call a long-range plan. They don't call them strategic plans. That's lingo, but just in case you see that when you're looking at Mid-Hudson stuff. I think that one of the first steps will just be ask all the committee chairs to review the current one that we have and start thinking about what it is we need to do going forward in terms of either updating or revising or replacing our current strategic plan. So just a thought for you on that front, Dottie.
The other thing I'm thinking, the people who are new to the board, I will make a copy of the plan and get that to you so you know what we're talking about and can review it yourselves.
You don't need to make copies. We can send things electronically.
All right, all right.
All right.
It is more eco-friendly, Dottie, if you do it digitally.
Oh, shut up.
Depends how long it is. I have a tough time reading very long documents online person.
Yeah, I agree with
Um,
that, Teresa.
You know, a couple pages isn't bad, but if it's real lengthy, I would prefer a hard copy, truthfully.
We can arrange that.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
I'll
you.
arrange it, Teresa.
Thank you, Dottie. If it's safe, I'll come to your house and read your copy.
All right. I don't have any old business to review this evening with the board. Is there any new business that any board members want to bring forward for our consideration? Boy, that drew a lot of blanks. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for.
Just one request. Have you already adopted the budget for 2021, or is that a work in process? And if you have adopted it, could you share it with us newbies?
Yep. So Judy, I've got a list. I'll add the budget. And Judy sent me a chat. She's pretty hip, and so she figured out how to send a chat privately to me to ask about board contacts. So for the 4 new people, I'm going to write you guys a separate email. So if I could get your full contact, and then I'll add you to the larger list of board contacts, and then I'll send that out to everybody. So I'll send the budget to the new people, asking for contacts from the new people, but then send the full list of contacts to everybody when I get it together.
Great. And we're going to, yep.
So the next board meeting will be March 11th. And if the system is working right and Vicky's able to get us her annual report, that'll be a really fun meeting to go to. I know I personally really look forward to Vicky's annual reports. It's just a good way of pulling everything that the library has done in one evening. I don't know if she's going to be able to do it, but normally we have these great photos of all the programs that have taken place over the years. So I just want to put in a plug to make sure everyone marks March 11th, on their calendar. We meet, the second Thursday of each month, but I think this next one will be also very special.
Terrific. I agree. I love the PowerPoint presentations that she puts together. And every year I swear I'm going to take it to the Board of Supervisors, and maybe this will be the year I actually do it. All right.
Side bets.
You're gonna go bookie on it. Well, maybe if you remind me, Randy, I'll actually get my together. All right. Does anybody else have anything else for us this evening?
Rick, I just had a quick question that I thought of when something Julie mentioned, I think. With all the use we've had in Zoom, have we had any bad actors involved in anything? We haven't, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
I was just wondering.
Yep. And I think that's, Mark, I think that's because these are by invitation only. They're not, we've guarded them, so they're not just out there to be hacked.
Yeah, I was going to be surprised if we did. I mean, doesn't seem like they'd want in, but it's good to be preventative.
Yep. Yep. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you to Richard for hanging in there for the whole meeting, and Alex, who's already gone, but this was terrific. Just an awesome annual meeting, probably the best I've ever been part of. And looking forward to another one in December. But in the meantime,
welcome.
Yes.
yes.
And it was nice meeting you, Richard.
And yeah, and I'm very excited about all the new members. It's just wonderful.
Great.
Thanks.
All right, great. Next meeting, March 11th, 7 p.m. Be there, be square.
Oh, boy.
Good night, all.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Get it, you're in the
Happy
box.
Hearts Day.
Bye.